There are moments in sports that stop time completely. Moments where the entire building holds its breath, where seasoned fans forget to blink, where opponents freeze just long enough to watch something extraordinary unfold right in front of them. Caitlin Clark creates those moments on a nightly basis, and what makes her truly different from every other player in the game today is that she does it from distances that most professional players would never even attempt in a practice setting, let alone in the middle of a packed arena with thousands of eyes locked onto her every movement. This is not a story about luck. This is not a story about a hot shooting night or a fortunate bounce off the rim at the right moment. This is a story about a generational talent who has completely redefined what range means in professional basketball, who has forced entire defensive systems to be rebuilt around stopping her, and who still finds a way to make the shot anyway. This is the story of what happens when unstoppable confidence meets elite mechanics, when deep range becomes a weapon so dangerous that no one in the building can fully prepare for it, even when they know it is coming. When Mitchell drove into the lane and could not convert, it seemed like a simple missed opportunity. Boston flung the ball out quickly, and within seconds the possession changed completely. Then Clark stepped into a deep three, and you already knew before the ball left her hands. That split second of recognition in the crowd, that collective breath where thousands of fans began rising to their feet before the shot even dropped, tells you everything you need to understand about what Caitlin Clark has built for herself in this league. The moment it left her hands, the energy inside the arena shifted completely. It was not a gradual build. It was immediate and electric, like a switch being flipped across every single seat in that building. Fans were standing up before the net even moved because they had seen this pattern enough times to trust what their eyes were telling them. They knew the arc. They recognized the release. They understood that when Caitlin Clark pulls up from that distance with that kind of balance and that kind of confidence, the ball is going in more often than not. When it dropped cleanly through the net, the building erupted. The bench jumped up instantly. The crowd roared with the kind of noise that shakes the walls and vibrates through the floor. Social media reactions started happening in real time before the referee had even retrieved the ball. That single shot turned a normal possession into a viral highlight within seconds, and that has become one of the most remarkable and consistent features of everything Caitlin Clark does on a basketball court. What makes Caitlin Clark so genuinely special is the way she shoots without any trace of hesitation, even from extreme distances that make conventional basketball thinking uncomfortable. Most professional players, even elite ones, have an invisible line on the floor beyond which they begin to feel the weight of risk. That psychological boundary causes them to slow down, reconsider, pull up short, or force a pass rather than take the shot they actually see. Clark does not have that boundary. She simply does not recognize it as a limitation. She treats deep range like a completely normal scoring opportunity. From the logo, from several feet beyond the arc, from angles that would make most coaches wince from the sideline, she rises with the same composure and the same deliberate mechanics that she would use on a straightforward mid-range pull-up. There is no adjustment in her body language. There is no visible moment of doubt crossing her face. She sees the opening, she creates the separation, and she lets it fly with total conviction. Wheeler found Clark from the logo on one possession that became an instant talking point. Watch what Wheeler does before the pass. He stares deliberately to the right side, selling the look in that direction, then drops the ball behind to Clark, who is already setting her feet. Could be the deepest shot we had seen Caitlin Clark make as a professional. The mechanics were perfect from that distance. The rotation on the ball was clean. The arc was exactly right. And when it went through, the response was almost disbelief mixed with the understanding that, yes, this is exactly who she is and exactly what she does. Her confidence is not random or careless. It is built on something real and something deeply practiced. She trusts her mechanics in every single situation, regardless of how tight the defense is, regardless of how much pressure is being applied, regardless of how late in the shot clock the possession has become. That trust in her own fundamentals is what allows her to perform at this level when everything around her is moving fast and defenders are closing in with urgency. Even when defenders are coming at her hard, she does not rush. She does not panic and launch an off-balance attempt just to get a shot off. Instead, she stays grounded, reads the pressure correctly, uses her footwork to create just enough space, sets her feet with remarkable quickness, and releases with the same smooth motion every single time. The step back is a perfect example. Getting your feet together in transition, establishing balance in less than a second, and then rising into a three from several feet beyond the arc, while a defender is right there closing out requires a level of physical coordination and mental composure that is genuinely rare at any level of basketball. That Caitlin Clark effect radiates outward from her individual shooting ability into the broader structure of every game she plays. Because defenses know they cannot give her space anywhere on the floor, they are forced to guard her relentlessly from far outside the three-point line. That defensive attention opens up driving lanes for teammates, creates clear paths to the basket, and generates open looks for other shooters who suddenly find themselves with more room to operate than they would normally receive. When one player forces an entire defensive scheme to stretch and rearrange itself on every possession, the impact on the game goes far beyond whatever points she scores herself. Another dimension of what makes these moments so compelling is the timing. Caitlin Clark does not just make difficult shots in comfortable situations. She makes them when the game's speed increases, when the defensive intensity rises, and when the stakes are at their highest. That ability to perform better under pressure rather than worse is one of the clearest indicators separating truly elite players from very good ones. The Fever went on a 15-2 extended run from the end of the first quarter, and Clark was the engine driving it. Chicago had been trying to find any answer. They had been throwing different defensive looks at her, trying to disrupt her rhythm, trying to make her uncomfortable. Nothing worked. She kept getting to her spots, kept finding her angles, kept delivering in the moments that mattered most for the momentum of the game. When the defense gets more aggressive and the physicality increases, she does not slow down to protect herself or play more conservatively. She actually gets more dangerous. There is a natural ability in how she operates to stay completely calm internally while everything around her becomes chaotic and fast. Defenders are rushing. The crowd is loud. The game is tight. And she is processing all of it while still finding the seams, still locating her teammates, still identifying the moment to pull up and shoot. Clark through the lane, reversing it and under pressure. Clark at the rim, drawing contact and converting through it. Clark deep three, drilling it over an outstretched hand that arrived a fraction of a second too late to matter. One thing that becomes very clear when you watch her consistently is that she is relentless. She is going to keep shooting that ball. If a shot does not fall, she is already thinking about the next one. If a defender takes something away, she is already identifying the alternative. That mental persistence combined with her physical skill set creates a competitor who simply does not give the defense a moment to exhale. Look closely at the hand extension on the defensive contest. When the hand extends from the body to contest a shot, that is when officials typically consider calling an offensive foul. Clark is aware of where the defender's hand is. She is reading that contest in real time and adjusting her release accordingly. That level of detailed awareness while operating at full speed in a packed arena is not something that can be faked or stumbled into. It is developed through thousands of repetitions and a deep understanding of the game at a granular level. Watch how she uses screens. Mitchell using the screen while Clark evades. The way she navigates through screens, either using them properly to gain separation or evading defensive pressure by reading where the opening is going to develop a half second before it actually appears, speaks to the basketball intelligence underneath all the highlight reel shooting. She is not just an athlete with a good shot. She is a sophisticated basketball player who understands spacing, timing, court geometry, and defensive tendencies at a very high level. The passing is another element that deserves recognition. The baseball pass down the court, the ability to make throws that not very many players can execute from behind the free throw line while moving in the other direction, the vision to find backdoor cuts before the defense can react, the patience to give the ball up and trust teammates rather than forcing an individual play when the situation calls for it. She had an open look from 3 in one possession, recognized that the drive was actually the better play given where the defense was positioned, and took it to the rim instead. That decision-making in the moment is what makes everything else she does even more effective. The reaction after the shot showed exactly how big of an impact Caitlin Clark has on the game as a whole, not just in the arena, but across every platform where basketball lives. The entire building reacted simultaneously. Fans screaming together, teammates celebrating without restraint, opponents momentarily stunned before gathering themselves to continue. Clips of the shot immediately started circulating online before the next possession had even begun. That has become a normal pattern with her games now. One highlight leads to instant viral buzz, which leads to more eyes on the sport, which leads to more conversations about women's basketball that would not have been happening at this scale just a few years ago. She has a rare ability to turn live basketball into entertainment that spreads far beyond the arena and far beyond the immediate fan base, reaching casual sports fans and people who might not follow the WNBA regularly, but find themselves watching a Caitlin Clark clip at midnight and feeling genuinely amazed by what they just saw. This matters for reasons that go beyond individual statistics or team records. Attendance numbers have climbed. Television ratings have responded. Merchandise has moved. New fans have found their way into arenas and onto broadcasts because of what she represents and what she consistently delivers. When a player can generate that kind of crossover attention while also performing at an elite competitive level, the combination creates something genuinely historic in how a league grows and how a sport reaches new audiences. Atlanta opened up red hot and then went ice cold after the first quarter. When Clark gets going, defending her becomes a problem without a clean solution. You cannot give her space because she will launch from anywhere on the floor with complete confidence and unacceptable accuracy. You cannot press her too hard because she reads pressure well and will use it against you, either drawing fouls, creating pull-up opportunities when the closeout is slightly off balance, or finding the open teammate that the aggressive defense has created. Houston giving everything she had to contest the shot, but Clark hits the three anyway. That is what good help from the weak side is supposed to prevent, and the help was right there, but Clark saw it coming and adjusted. No bounds. Houston has to come with her hands up because you cannot let Clark see daylight, but even with hands up and a body in the right place, the shot still went in. There is a ceiling on what defense can accomplish against a shooter with this combination of range, mechanics, and decision-making. Teams are really coming out on fire trying to solve her in the opening minutes, and sometimes they succeed in slowing her down in the first quarter. But the second and third quarters have been the issue for opponents repeatedly. She makes adjustments at halftime. She identifies what the defense is taking away and finds new angles to attack. She communicates with her teammates about what she is seeing, and then she comes out and starts hitting shots from places that defenses thought they had covered. She is a knockdown shooter. She is feisty. She competes with intensity on both ends of the floor. She is willing to make the offensive foul call against her a non-issue by using her intelligence to stay within the rules while still creating space. She leads the WNBA in demonstrating what this sport can look like when a player of her particular combination of skills and personality operates at full capacity in front of growing audiences. Caitlin Clark asking for the ball in the final possession is not a demand driven by ego. It is a statement driven by confidence that has been earned through years of preparation, through a career at multiple levels that has demonstrated over and over again that she can be trusted with the ball when the game needs a bucket. She has done this throughout her career. She thrives when she gets to operate at her own tempo, when her teammates trust her enough to find her in the right spots, and when the defense has no good answer remaining. Always such a high percentage shooter from deep. Always consistent in how she approaches each possession. Always ready for the moment, whether it is the opening minutes of the first quarter or the final seconds of a close game. She is not a volume shooter who happens to make some from deep. She is an elite shooter who also happens to be a complete basketball player, and that combination is what makes her impossible to guard and unforgettable to watch. What happened on that possession, what happens on dozens of possessions across every game Caitlin Clark plays, is not accidental, and it is not routine even though it has become familiar. It is the product of relentless preparation meeting natural talent, meeting extraordinary competitive courage. Every deep three she makes is a reminder that basketball at its highest level is not just a physical game. It is a mental one. And she wins that mental battle before she ever catches the ball, before she ever sets her feet, before she ever releases the shot that makes the entire building rise together. The crowd barely had time to react before she pulled up from way beyond the arc and released another unbelievable deep three. That sentence tells you everything. When the crowd cannot fully process what is happening before it is already over, when the reactions come after the fact because the play moved too fast for normal human response, you are watching someone operate at a level that genuinely separates them from everyone else in the game. She is feisty. She is relentless. She is going to keep shooting that ball. And as long as she keeps shooting it with the mechanics, the confidence, and the competitive fire that she brings to every single possession, these moments are going to keep happening, keep spreading, and keep reminding everyone watching why Caitlin Clark is not just a great player in the WNBA right now, but a historically significant figure in the broader story of basketball itself. The best part is that we are still in the early chapters of that story, and if what we have seen so far is any indication of what is coming, The moments ahead are going to be even more extraordinary than everything that has already taken our breath away. Stay locked with my channel, Simply Explained, with more updates.